Pam Douglas. I'm the founder of the suite of programs for parents with babies known as Neuroprotective Developmental Care, which includes our NDC Baby Sleep Revolution, also known here in Australia as the Possums Sleep Program. You'll all be familiar, I think, with sleep training. It's the dominant approach to parent-infant sleep at the moment, here and worldwide. Sleep training is really a first wave behavioural approach to the care of parents with babies that arose in the 1950s and 1960s out of the work of the first behaviourists such as Pavlov and Skinner. It spread like wildfire and was quickly integrated with what was being known as scientific mothering and Nightingale approaches to the care of mothers after the birth of their baby. And by 1974, when I was a girl at school in Queensland and did my compulsory mothercraft classes, we were taught first wave behavioural approaches to the care of babies. That is, we were taught the principles of sleep training that are still being taught to parents today. So just so we're all on the same page, let me run through the philosophy, the various steps that are either all together or at least in large part integrated into the many various iterations of sleep training programs. So parents are told that sleep breeds sleep. That's a real misconception, actually. Calm might breed calm, but the concept that sleep breeds sleep is unphysiological. But parents are told sleep breeds sleep. They're given lists of tired cues. So the list includes things like the baby yawns, or the baby's starting to grizzle, or the baby rubs his or her little eyes, or the baby tugs on his or her ears. And these are interpreted as signs, tired signs, and we need to get the baby down with the first tired signs. Parents are given estimates, algorithms if you like, but estimates around just how long a baby should be awake for, depending on age, before he or she really needs to go to sleep. And parents are told that the baby needs this sleep in order for the little one's brain to grow or for the little one to achieve optimal developmental outcomes. And that too is not borne out, I would argue, by the research. But nevertheless, first tired signs get the baby down. Now, parents are advised that the sleeps during the day ideally comprise a couple of sleep cycles. So if the little one wakes after 40 minutes or so, after one sleep cycle, then we're advised to get that baby back to sleep. And then parents are advised, as part of the sleep training package, that they need to build up positive associations with the cot in order to teach the baby to self-settle. So feeding the baby off to sleep, whether it's the breast or the bottle, is framed in the first wave behavioural approach as building up a bad habit, a negative sleep association that's likely to impact on sleep and cause unnecessary disruption to sleep down the track, even though this, again, is simply not borne out by the evidence. Parents are also told that they should delay responses to their baby's cues. Either delay responses or, in fact, respond to the baby, but not in the way that mother or father knows in their heart that their baby really wants to be responded to. And again, a systematic repeated approach of delaying responses to our baby's cues sits in contrast to all the latest neuroscience that tells us that that responsiveness, as best we can, not that we can always respond and not that it always dials the baby down, but a sensible pattern of intentional responsiveness over time is clearly going to optimise our baby's developmental outcomes. Parents are given graphs around sleep cycles, active sleep, quiet sleep, which are quite inaccurate because sleep architecture is in fact highly flexible and adaptive. Parents are advised to sleep the baby in a quiet, dark room during the day, which again contradicts all the evidence around safe sleep, which occurs if the baby's in the same vicinity as a loving adult, both night and day. Parents are often advised to follow feed, play, sleep cycles, which is actually a system for separating out sleep from feeds or separating out sleep from being in a parent's arms. Parents are advised not to let their baby get overtired or overstimulated. Again, in our NDC approach to sleep, the Possums Sleep Program, we simply don't use those concepts because they're so out of step with all the latest neuroscience. Parents are advised to get the baby down as early as you can really in the evening, 6 p.m, 7 p.m, depending on the age of the baby, and to keep that little one in the cot for 12 hours overnight, if you can. So the first wave behavioural approaches will come in various iterations. Not every program incorporates every element of that whole suite of steps in sleep training that I've just run through. But I think it's important that you're aware that when you hear these steps, when these are being given to you as advice, they come out of a particular philosophy. And what I know from my work with the research over so many years now is that there's really not reliable evidence to suggest that the first wave behavioural approaches to sleep actually do improve sleep or behavioural outcomes down the track, even though this is what parents are being told. In fact, the evidence is really clear that sleep training doesn't decrease night waking in our babies in the first 12 months of life. And sleep training doesn't improve maternal mood more than any other kind intervention. This has been demonstrated now in 4 systematic reviews. So systematic reviews are syntheses of all the existing research to date, and there's been a lot on sleep training. I co-authored one of these systematic reviews, but the others, including a systematic review of randomised controlled trials, if you drill down into it, if you drill down and see that actually what's being analysed are sleep training approaches, then in fact these systematic reviews demonstrate clearly that sleep training doesn't decrease night waking for babies. In fact, my concern is that the application of the sleep training approaches not only makes life a lot harder than it needs to be for families, because we can talk together about ways in which we can work with your baby's biology to take the hard work out of sleep, to let sleep be easy and healthy. Not only does some sleep training make life harder than it needs to be, my concern is that it actually ramps up the sympathetic nervous system, if you like, in the baby and the grown-ups. It dials us all up and develops a whole trajectory around family sleep that's anxious and disrupted, and that may actually risk worsened developmental outcomes for for those biologically or psychosocially vulnerable families. So it is time for a paradigm shift in the care of parents with babies around sleep. And for many years now, we've been busy at Possums Education bringing our evidence-based baby sleep revolution, the Possums Sleep Program, into the public domain. This is what I'm hoping to offer you today.